midfielder, and as I say, free agents going cheap, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Chirpy, chirpy, cheap, cheap is not always a bad thing. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's talk. Big statement there from Simo. He says Ollie's the right man. Is he a United fan? Is he a Liverpool fan? That's the question, isn't it? I think the statement Ollie is the right man has to be taken into context of who's actually saying it. But anyway, let's start off with this story. It's coming from Spain. It's coming from AS. Real Madrid very impressed with Paul Pogba over the international break. I don't know why the international break is a spark for people to say Pogba's playing well. Look, I saw the clip of him yesterday from Sunday in the dressing room at half-time of the Nations League, and I saw a lot of the people saying, oh, look at Roy Keane and Graham Souness in the mud. Yes and no. Yes and no. Look, everybody knows I'm a fan of Paul Pogba, but I've got to be honest, in the case of Roy Keane, I think he's been critical of Pogba because he's not been a consistent performer for Manchester United. What's very clear for me is that when you see these clips of Pogba in the dressing room as a leader at half-time for France, and we saw it in the World Cup as well, is why don't we get that Pogba for Manchester United? Because we don't. And Roy Keane is right. We don't get the French Paul Pogba at Manchester United. Does he hand his passport in and pretend he's from Stoke? I don't know, but we're not getting that Pogba, and I don't blame Pogba for that. Actually, I do not. I know ex-players will blame the player because they'll be like, well, it's down to yourself. But ultimately, I think we've had two managers that have had Paul Pogba and they haven't got the best out of him. Yet, predominantly for France, he hits the high levels. The reasons for that for me are that Paul Pogba likes playing for France. He's more comfortable playing for France. He's happier playing for France. And they get the best out of him. Now, is that because he's, international football's more important to him than club football? We've seen that with certain English players. Gazza loved playing for England, but personally, I just think he's more content in France. He knows his role in the team for France, and he's accommodated as the quality player he is for France. So I think that's. I think that's the big issue there. We don't use Paul Pogba to the best of his abilities. I can't imagine Paul Pogba being in the dressing room like he is for France either. I don't think he would be that vocal. So, he's been here 6 years, and I don't think we've got the best out of Paul Pogba, and I've been very consistent about that. And I think that's why Paul Pogba is inconsistent, because we don't get the best out of him. And for anybody who wants, whatever. I'm not really interested in that. I've consistently said, even when he was playing well on the left wing, that Paul Pogba's best position for Manchester United is a centre midfielder. And yes, he's done very well on the left wing, but for me, that's just shoehorning Pogba in. You don't shoehorn Paul Pogba into a Man United side that's not challenged for a title for 8 years. Paul Pogba should be fundamental to that team in the centre of the park, and this is what he is for France. He's a leader. You don't be a bloody leader on the left wing. He's a leader. He should be in that team. He should be in that midfield. And that's a failing on behalf of Solskjaer and Mourinho and the coaches that have surrounded those two managers over the last 6 years. They have failed to get the best out of Paul Pogba at Manchester United, and that's what annoys me. But anyway, the story is coming that Madrid, from AS, which is a Madrid-based paper, that Real Madrid are very interested in signing Paul Pogba next summer when he's a free agent. However, this is not just your normal story of PSG are interested, United want to pay him £500,000 a week. What Real Madrid are basically saying is, from this article, is that yes, they want Paul Pogba to come to Real Madrid, but they want Paul Pogba to want to come to Madrid. They're not going to get involved in a bidding war. They're not going to start saying there's £500,000 a week. Paul Pogba's got to want to come to Madrid above anybody else, and then Madrid will make their move. And I tell you what, we talk about Madrid and their bounce back, but that's pretty, I don't know whether they got Manscaped on their shirts, but that's balls from Madrid. That's big club balls from Madrid. Madrid, for me, are a club that's in trouble. The Super League didn't work out. I don't feel that they are Champions League contenders. They've lost a few players over the summer. But with Camavinga going there, they obviously think they're going to get Mbappe, they get Pogba, they keep Benzema. They've got a real French connection going on there, and it's a rebuild connection. And I think that, as Carl says, it's big club moves from Real Madrid. I respect it. I like it. If that's true, I like it. I like the fact that they're saying, look, if you want to go into a circus next summer and start saying you're going to go to the highest bidder, we're out. If you want to come to Real Madrid and be part of this project, we're in. And that's a brave move by Madrid, but I also think it's a mature move, because if Madrid put their hand up and say we want Paul Pogba, but we're going to compete with PSG and whatever United are going to do, and maybe Newcastle will fancy a little bit, they won't get him, but maybe they will. Then Madrid are sort of like left there with their hands out saying please, and I don't think they want to do that. So be interesting, because we've always heard that Pogba would like to go to Madrid. Well, is that going to be the move that he wants to make? We'll have to wait and see. But I think it will certainly be interesting. In relation to Pogba, look, I can't give you a clarity on that. I don't think anybody can give clarity on that. We've heard at the start of the week that PSG will give him 500 grand a week. There's no way Real Madrid will give him 500 grand a week. So does he go to the money? Does he go for the money? If he's interested in the money, then PSG or United will offer him